With the passage of Bill C-46 in December of 2018, Parliament brought in these new laws where the police can use a roadside screening test. What it is, it's a saliva test essentially. And this detects whether there's a drug in your system, for example, THC, methamphetamine, cocaine. In order to make the demand for these tests, what has to happen is the police officer has to reasonably suspect that you have a drug in your system. And that can be shown in many ways. You have red eyes, tremors, you're acting agitated, your speech pattern may not be good, as, for example, and say you don't have an odor of alcohol on your breath. So all those things would clearly give them a reasonable suspicion. So Parliament's declared this law. They're still testing various devices. They haven't been declared by regulation yet, but at some point they're going to roll these out. And this is probably a good thing because there's grounds, reasonable suspicion, just like an alco test, and it may be difficult to challenge this new law. So this is not so controversial like other laws that I've talked about, for example, where they can just randomly demand an alco test device with no odor of alcohol in your breath. So it'll be interesting when they roll these out, and it seems like a useful tool that the police will have. But there may be other ways and means of attacking this in court, by example, suggesting that the officer didn't have the reasonable suspicion. That's often a defense. And I know there will be other defenses that arise in these particular cases as well. If a person fails that test once it's rolled out, what happens is the officer will then arrest them for drug-impaired driving and make a demand for a drug evaluation test, which is a very 12-step complicated series of tests and balance tests at the station. They take drug, pulse, balance tests, following fingers tests, etc., and by drug recognition experts, which can be challenged too. In the right case, those can be challenged in one as well. So there you have it. Once they roll it out, the new screening tests, it'll be interesting to see if we detect more impaired by drug cases in Canada. And that's, of course, is the goal of this new legislation.